It's a big moment for you, I'm sure. How are you feeling?
Well, it's like it's honestly it's hard to find the words to say about this moment. But yeah, of course, it's the most common phrase that you can say at this moment is the dream come true. Honestly, it's hard to understand you are here already, but yeah, the dream come true. It's hard to, it's like I said, it's hard to find the ways to explain this club for me. Uh, it's a funny history. Only in my grandma's house we can watch Premier League. In my house don't have the channel. In my cousin's house don't have the channel.
Yeah.
So we organized to go in the weekend to my grandma's house to watch the Premier League. And he's older than me, and he supports United. And he like show me the way to start to watch Premier League.
Okay.
Need to support United. And for me, it was always a bit of inside of me, this club, you know.
Yeah.
When I play with him in the street, we call in the how's the name, the pitch, like the sand pitch.
Like the gravel.
Gravel pitch,
Yeah,
exactly. We normally play there in Brazil, it's very common.
Yeah.
We call this pitch is the Old Trafford. Imagine. So
Wow.
it's so hard to be here now and then thinking about the past. It's very emotional for me.
Amazing. Was there any particular players that you used to look at and want to play like?
Yeah, it's always hard to talk because I remember the whole squad at the time. Then I started to watch.
Yeah.
You know, like in the front to Ronnie.
Yeah.
Wow, as someone. Then I think I have a lot of particularity in my game because I always like give everything.
Yeah.
And I remember he used the number 10, so his shirt, and everyone lovely to the skills of the player and use the shirt, but he bring always more like he go to the grass to take the ball, and you know, like this kind of energy inside of him was big example. But of course I can mention a lot of players. Ronaldo, everyone, the word is easy to talk about him, but Ryan Giggs, everyone may is. I can imagine the team, you know, we started with Van der Sar the goal, you know. Wow, Rio Ferdinand with Vidic in defender. I know
You
a
see
lot.
you see it. I see it. I see
Paul
it.
Scholes, wow. Carrick.
Yeah.
Wow, the team for me was, honestly, big impact for my teenage.
Yeah.
Cunha.
Well, yeah, good signing. What they need is legs. I mean, they need a centre forward.
It's not a game changer, is it?
He is a game changer, yeah.
I don't think so, Dom.
Well, I do.
I don't think... he's now going to put Manchester United as title contenders?
No, he won't.
I don't understand what you mean
he's
as a
better
game changer.
Well, he is a game-changing player.
In what context of Manchester United, their ambition?
Because he adds legs, he adds goals, he adds assists, on top of maybe Victor Osimhen, on top of maybe Brian Mbeumo. So the rebuild looks like it's happening. It's quite impressive to me, even though it's only one player through the door in Cunha, who's a fantastic player. I think from Brian Mbeumo's point of view, as I was saying, you can either go to Tottenham and play for your former manager in Thomas Frank,
And play Champions League.
Play Champions League, which would be quite impressive to go and have a manager that completely trusts you. Or you look at the club of the size of Man United and think, well, I could be part of something. Knowing that Cunha's signed, Brian Mbeumo next. If they give him insurances that maybe we're going after a number 9 in Osimhen, all of a sudden I look at it and think, because listen, as Rob said there, 2 players are not going to take Man United to win in the league. We know that, but a rebuild has to start somewhere. And there's no reason with no European football whatsoever next season, Man, you can't have a really good go at getting European football at top 4 again next season. Because they've got 1 game a week.
Top 4?
With the new signings, potentially, yeah. They've got no European football to play. So they're potentially playing Saturday to Saturday. There's a lot of time on the grass for Ruben Amorim to work on his players.
We had time, didn't he? Last few months it didn't work out.
With a million games involved.
Sorry?
With a million games
There
involved.
wasn't a million games in the last 3 months,
Well, there was
there?
domestic football. There was
what else?
European football, a European final. Come on, Dan, you know that, to play busy football on Thursdays. Domestic football during the week. 2 or 3 games a week. That's a difficult schedule for a team that wasn't good enough. Now you add good players to it without European football.
You've added 1 player.
Yeah, sitting here now, but it could be 2 with Brian Mbeumo.
What,
and it
what
could be
did he
3
do?
with Osimhen.
Well, now they're top 4 contenders.
Yes.
I don't
3
understand how
players.
that computes.
So you add 3 brilliant players. You don't think Man U can get top 4?
100% no.
Of course they can.
No.
Why not?
Because they're terrible.
But look at the players that they're signing.
What, are they playing in defence?
No, but...
Are they running around in midfield?
Listen
Are they
to my
wheeling
point.
Casemiro around?
Listen to my point. The manager's going to have time on the training ground. He's not going to have a million games. He's going to be playing Saturday to Saturday.
But if you've
adding
still
really
got the
good
same
players.
personnel, you've got Rashford in the background, you've got Jadon Sancho hanging out
They
behind
might
the
sign
bike
more.
sheds. You know, you've got all this problem.
I completely disagree.
I don't understand how all of a sudden
You don't
Cunha
understand
comes,
because you close
like-
your ears off. I've just said to you they're going to sign potentially 3 brilliant players.
Right, but if they sign those 3 players, that doesn't fix anything.
It gets them closer to European football.
But it doesn't put them across the line with the top 4, does it?
Why not?
Because they've still got to defend. They've still got to win the ball.
Is that all you're basing it on? You're not basing it on structure?
I'm basing
You're
it
not
on they
basing
finished
goals?
they
This
finished
is a team-
16th last
This is a
season.
team that's had a negative goal difference for about the last 4 years. They're trying to fix it.
But they're not.
Well, they are. They're adding
They're
goals
getting
down.
worse. They're getting
Cunha's gonna
worse. Every
score.
season they're
My
getting
God,
worse.
Is he mad? Cunha's going to score, and number 9's going to score, and Buemo's going to score.
Those 3 come in their top 4, Shaq.
I don't see Manchester United finishing top 4.
Why
I don't.
not?
For all the reasons that Dad just said, between
the
Sancho
fact-
hanging up behind the bike
But the fact they've got no European football to play will help them.
We'll get to the predictions, next season predictions later on, right? from a Brian and Buemo perspective.
Shaq has put an embargo on it.
I just told
when's
you.
the
I
cut-off
just told you. I don't think Manchester. As we sit right now, I do not think Manchester United finish top 6. Probably not even
What
top 8.
changes your mind? Osimhen and Buemo. Does that change your
About
mind?
6 signings changes my mind. About 6, which we can't speculate on right now. We can't speculate on what those 6 signings are, who they will be. I will say that Manchester United, to your point, don't have the attracting power that they once did. Just because back in the day, Manchester United was the go-to destination. They aren't anymore. They are shopping in the Cunha basket, so to speak, and that level of player. I think that inches them higher up the table, but it doesn't have them banging on the door of top 4. Probably not even top 6, top 8, as I say.
Wow, not even top 8?
Not even top 8.
You're ridiculous.
If I'm Brian and Buemo, to your question, Dan, my former manager who got the best out of me goes to another London club with Champions League football.
Right.
Those 2 clubs, between Spurs and Manchester United, there was, a couple of points and a couple of places between them in terms of the league table. So you're starting pretty much on a level pegging. And so while you make the point about what signings Manchester United could make to propel them to top 4, you could make that same exact argument about Spurs, because they're starting from pretty much level pegging. And Spurs have Champions League football to attract those players. So you could quite easily make the argument that right now, if we're talking the next 2 or 3 years, which is Brian and Buemo's focus, Spurs are in a better position. So I take nothing for granted in terms of Mbuemo going to Manchester United. If I'm Brian Mbuemo, and again, coming from somebody who followed Harry Redknapp around, you totally understand if Thomas Frank gives him a call and that all of a sudden is the far more appealing prospect.
That's what you love, isn't it, Rob? In the heat in Miami, listening to us talk nonsense.
Absolutely fantastic. What more could you want?
Where do you? So Don says if they get these 3 players, they're finishing top 4. Where do you
Chance
stand on
of top 4.
that was a chance. Beep, beep, beep.
Well, I mean, I must say that I agree with Don, because not having European football and having 3 weeks in between games, I mean, the lads in the studio will know better than anyone, but having that time to be able to prepare for 1 game a week is a massive thing for Ruben Amorim and Man United, particularly when you're trying to learn a new system and a new tactical setup. And it's what Ruben Amorim has said even last season. He said that there was a case that maybe Man United weren't ready for European football next year, and maybe it would help them if they had those 3 weeks. So he's assuming that he can get a lot more out of these players. And when you put on top of that, Matheus Cunha and hopefully Brian Mbuemo, 2 proven Premier League goal scorers, you're solving a huge problem there. The lack of goals has really held Man United back for the last couple of years. And if you can solve that and bring in proven Premier League goal scorers to put the ball in the net, it gets you an awful lot closer to the top 4. I mean, in my opinion, I think they should be looking at top 6. But I agree with Don. I mean, if they can hit the ground running at the start of next season, start scoring goals, Cunha and Mbuemo scoring goals, I don't see why top 4 should be out of the question.
To that point, while we're talking about Brian Mbuemo here, saying to a player, we don't have Champions League football next season. We don't have any. That's really poor salesmanship.
Well, the fact that they might say we'll give you another 100 grand a week on top.
Well, this coming from Manchester United, who've had their financial issues for well-documented financial issues for quite some time. Now, it's easy for us, sitting on the outside, to say it's better for Manchester United that they don't have European football, they don't have those midweek exertions. It's better for Ruben Amorim. For Brad Mbeumo, that doesn't wash. You want to be playing European football.
Do you think Spurs will pay him $250 a week?
I'm sitting here assuming that all things are equal, right?
They're not.
Okay, right. But
Man, you're going to pay him
okay,
$250
but to your point, Manchester United have had financial issues for quite some time. If they aren't able to shift Marcus Rashford, if they aren't able to shift Anthony, if they aren't able to shift Casemiro, if they aren't able to shift Jadon Sancho, are we sure that Spurs can't match Manchester United just in terms of financial fair play or whatever it's called now? I'm not sure, given their financial issues. That's just the reality of who Manchester United are right now.
Cunha's arrival marks the start of Ruben Amorim's rebuild at United, with the Red Devils aiming to bounce back after a turbulent season. But it was United, not a Champions League club, that won his heart, and he has fought back against criticism of his move. Speaking to club media, Cunha said, "Maybe outside, I think maybe my decision, they don't understand. But when you have always dreamed to play here, it's easier to pick this decision. For me, no one else is like United. Of course, I know it's been a hard season for everyone. I think my decision shows what this club means to me, and what I believe it can be again." Cunha also credited new manager Ruben Amorim for convincing him to make the move. "I have a lot of faith in him. I hope he succeeds in conquering the world like he did in Portugal. I'm here to help the team, and to help him. All our discussions made my decision easier. You feel when a coach believes in you." The Brazilian went on to describe the emotional roots of his love for United. "It's hard to explain. Only my grandma had the channel to watch the Premier League, so on weekends we would go to her house just to watch the games. My cousin supported United. He showed me the team, the players, the passion. When we played on the gravel pitch in Brazil, we used to call it Old Trafford. That's how it started for me." Cunha also paid tribute to his idol, Wayne Rooney. Rooney was the number 10 and he gave everything. He tackled, he pressed, he fought. That kind of energy. I try to bring that to my game. I could name so many: Ronaldo, Ryan Giggs, Scholes, Carrick, Rio, Vidic. That whole team had a big impact on my teenage years.